Hi guys, how you all doing? Yeah, so I was thinking that whether you're looking at it on the external level or whether you look at it on the internal level. Let's start with the external. Narcissists, they're like vampires. They're vampires. You know, it's like The Lost Boys, which is an interesting film. Because of course we, the soul travelers, we are the Lost Boys in a way, aren't we? The Lost Boys, and you know, the narcissist is this nice guy, the upstanding citizen, you know, that runs the local fucking video shop, you know. And when he comes calling and knocking on your door, you're going to invite him in because you think, well, he's Mr. Innocuous, you know, and he's so nice. So you say, oh, do come in, Mr. Narcissist. And it's like that with the narcissist. Now, they all love bomb you, they all do, but they do it in their own unique sort of way, yes? And for me personally, the vulnerable narcissist is the most difficult to detect. That is just my experience, has been my experience. The grandiose narcissist is like, oh, there you go, he's a narcissist, yeah. You know, but they can be incredibly malicious and spit vitriol at anyone or anything for any reason, just because that's what they feel like. But with the vulnerable narcissist, it's a very different kettle of fish. They are, I call them the black hole vampires, because they feel profoundly entitled, no doubt about that. They feel profound. Hold on a minute, guys. They feel profoundly entitled to your sympathy, to your empathy, to your compassion, to your time, to your resources, to your energy. You see, because there's always some drama going on, always. And they want to tell you all about their drama at length and in great detail. And you're, at that point, an unsuspecting empath. You're an unsuspecting empath. And you care so much, you know, so you get lured in, a bit like they fold, you know, cream into a dish. You know, you fold it in, they stir you with their spoon of lies. And you get folded in, and, you know, you give them your sympathy, you give them your compassion, you give them your empathy, you give them your time. And then, oh yeah, thank you very much for that. And you get nothing back. Because they have no empathy for you. They don't care about you. They don't care that you're not very well. They don't care that you're going through shit. They don't give a fuck about you whatsoever. Not at all. But it's a contractual thing, you know. Make no mistake about it, guys. It's energetic in nature, and it's an energetic contractual arrangement, because they will come a knocking on your door. Love bombing, smiles, charm, all of it. And this pertains to all narcissists. All of them. And there are many different types. Now that is on the external, but of course ultimately on the internal that same dynamic takes place, kind of. See, the narcissists will make you believe that you're there to serve them, and that if you choose not to serve them, you are a bad person. You're selfish, you're guilty, you're bad. You're basically reinforcing the whole toxic shame construct. You're dirty, you're bad, you're guilty. You're so worthless, you don't deserve to exist, which is really what they think about themselves and what they feel about themselves. But as a soul traveller, you most likely had narc parents who reinforced this and put their own demonic shit into you, right? So it's not even yours. But it makes you the perfect supply, literally. Now, a soul traveller's consciousness is exactly the same. It's so pure, it's so innocent, it's so infinitely powerfully creative, harmoniously creative and powerfully creative that it is the ultimate resource for the dark side, which is the narcissist in all its different aspects. Whether it's the grandiose narcissist, the spiritual narcissist, the vulnerable victim narcissist, the do-gooder narcissist, right? There's so many different faces. And ultimately, the fall happens. A part of our own consciousness, I liken it to the yin and yang, so the black part of our consciousness, which is some people call it the divine masculine part of our psyche. The doer, the navigator, the one that takes the sacred feminine concepts and ideas and desires and dreams and visions and yes, it takes that and brings it into form. That part of us has become dysfunctional and has clicked out of alignment and has become our enemy. The enemy truly does lie within, in our own consciousness. And it has become narcissistic. It's interesting. The minute you try and really step into the light, the minute you are, never mind trying, I shouldn't have said that. The minute you are stepping into the light, the minute you begin to truly understand that, there is a parasite in my consciousness that makes me think a certain way, and ergo it makes me feel a certain way, and then it makes me behave a certain way, and it creates the inversion. It's in everything and I can see it everywhere. I can see it in animals, I can see it in nature, I can see it in people, and that's why everything is so fucking wrong. Right? But that is the narcissist, because it tells you that, well, you're here because you've been rejected, you have been found guilty, and this is your prison, this is your sentence. You're bad, you're sinful, you're guilty. But if you believe that, you accept that, because I'm telling you, it looms over you like a big fatted Buddha, and it tells you all of this, threateningly. And if you believe that and you accept that, and get on your knees and beg for mercy, then I will keep you safe. It's all a fucking illusion, because if I really am that disgusting, why would you want to keep me safe? Fucking destroy me already, seeing as I'm so utterly horrendously evil and disgusting and bad, right? Or, let's put it this way, seeing as I'm an infinite creator being and powerful beyond measure, why the fuck would I need you to keep me safe and to protect me or whatever? I don't believe your lies anymore. You're full of shit. Now fuck off. That is what's really going on. And the battle is there. That is the battleground. The vampires on the external plane will come knocking on your door. This is happening very, very much now. We're all becoming more aware of the whole narcissism thing. We realize that we live in a world which is completely narcissistic. I mean, you look at all these types of shows like Jeremy Kyle, we have them here, and you have them in America as well, where you get some fucking woman or man interviewing all these people who sit on a podium, and then the most distorted, horrendous, narcissistic motherfuckers, right? And it's and all the people are there. It's like Oprah as well, you know, all this type of shit. And it's totally toxic, and it's totally evil, and it's totally disgusting, you know. And that is, or the news, you know, what goes for the news and mainstream media, they're all narcissists, they're all liars, they're all psychopaths, you know, it's all of it. But yet, you know, the fashion industry, the food industry, everything is narcissistic. Everything is a love bombing thing because it's a Coca-Cola ad. It's like, oh, this is so wonderful and amazing and marvelous, you know, look at all these beautiful women on the catwalk, you know, they're all 12-year-old and they're smoking, taking heroin and dying of fucking, you know, food deprivation, they're starving, but oh, they're women and they're so beautiful, look at that, isn't it amazing to die from anorexia, I'm less than a size 0, isn't it beautiful, wow, yeah, you know, this is what it is, and all of this is created by a consciousness which has in it the narcissist, which is influencing the creative process, because consciousness always creates. We have never ever stopped creating, we are doing it now, but there is a parasite in our consciousness which is influencing our creating. And so we create this scenario where we have been cut off from the source, from the great mother. We have, in fact, we've been cut off from ourselves, you see. That is the thing, isn't it? There is a divorce, no doubt. That's why on the external divorce rates are through the roof, because it is an external example. It's trying to tell us something. It's saying, look, you have been divorced. Your masculine is over there creating absolute shit. Your feminine is over there feeling defiled and raped and bullied and you know, crushed into the filth, you know, because remember in school how you were taught there is no such thing as intuition, there is no such thing as psychic phenomenon, there's no this, there's no that, animals don't have souls, nature is shit, and nature is there to be brutally subjugated. It says that in the Bible even, you know. So that is a defilement of the feminine, of that which creates, of the true consciousness, you see. And then we have the masculine brutally enforcing all of that, you know. You see that on the external plane, you see it happening right now, you know. This is the war, but it is an internal war. It always was. It's a war within our own minds, within our own psyche, within our own consciousness, that then gives rise to the external, which is a representation of what happens in the internal plane. It always has been, people. So when it comes to us all smiling, you know, in this suit, and smiles, you know, saying that, well, you're really worthless and powerless and shit, you know, and the great mother didn't want you, you know, so you were left here because, well, you're just so bad and worthless and shit and powerless. But I'm here to save you, I'm here to rescue you. All I need you to do is to totally and utterly believe everything I say to you, and I'm here to tell you how worthless and shit and powerless you are, and I'm here to tell you that if you accept that and believe that and live on your knees in abject terror all the time, doing the risk assessment, expecting the worst to happen to you all the time, to the point where you can't even fucking function and you're suicidally depressed and crawling along the floor, whatever, yeah, then I will protect you. Which is a total fucking lie, because we get sick, we grow old, we have to work for a living, we go through trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma, but we're in such a state of disconnect until we start to awaken that we don't even realise that we think that's normal, you know. So we acquiesce because we don't know what's really going on, and then we start to awaken, then we go within, then we start to make the connections right now. So now we're at a point where it's like, ha, get it. Yeah, because the true consciousness is rising, showing us the truth. You see, with narcissists, with a vampire, when they come knocking on your door, your best bet is to say, I ain't letting you in, right? And here's some garlic, and here's a steak. The garlic is purity, right? This is what happens when you awaken. You will be purified. That's why it hurts so much. That's why it's called the dark night of the soul. Feels like shit, but you're being purified. The stake is like the sword of truth. It goes right, boom, into the heart. And so that is what it is, people. Not only do we have to set strong, firm boundaries with anything pertaining to the external, no, we also have to set strong, firm boundaries with everything pertaining that happens in here. Right? If you ain't setting boundaries here, forget it. It comes at you. It does this more now than ever before. It's clearly desperate. It's fucking panicking. You're worthless, you're shit, you're powerless, you need to be afraid, all the bad things are going to happen. If you stand in the light, I'm going to come and punish you because you agree to live on your knees and be afraid at all fucking times and do the risk assessment at all fucking times and to expect the worst. Right? And then I will keep you safe. Only, have we been safe? No, we haven't. We've suffered horrendously. We've been tortured horrendously. So, it's a lying fucker. But here's the thing, guys. It's a part of us, and I think that is what most people cannot fathom. They can't go there, they don't want to accept it. It is the enemy. It has tormented me. It lives within my mind, but it is not of me. But it is. It's a consciousness parasite click. It has caused a part of our self to turn against us and to become the inner enemy that subjugate the masculine, subjugating the feminine, as without so within, yeah? So what do we do there? What do we do with that? Well, when you get to that point where you understand that intrinsically, you realize that it's a quincunx type of situation. A quincunx is, in astrology, it's a terminology used for irreconcilable differences. It is the conundrum, I often call it, because the part that I call the passive-aggressive element is the part of us that believes with complete certainty that evil always wins, that the Great Mother has rejected us, does not love us. We are not loved. We are completely unlovable. We are that dirty and sinful and bad and worthless, right? So it believes that. That is what we have lived, life after life after life. We have experienced that in this reality, which is created by the faulty consciousness, right? So it is reinforced again and again and again. And it is there, that part of us is like, no. You need to be afraid. You need to hate yourself and be afraid. It's the only way to stay safe. I'm just trying to keep you safe. That is why I'm constantly looking for problems. That is why I'm constantly, expecting the worst. Because that way I won't be disappointed. If I expect the worst, then I'll be prepared for when it happens. I can't let go and relax and just flow through life, because if something bad happens, then it will annihilate me. It will destroy me. I'm just trying to protect you. You get what I'm saying? So it feels like the enemy within. It is, that part of us, that part of our being is insane with the pain. Because if you imagine you're there as a child with your back against the wall, terrified of your own parent looming above you, dark, foreboding, angry, threatening, telling you you had better agree with taking on all my darkness, all my evil, all my sickness. You better take that into yourself or fucking else. I will destroy you. That is what they do. That's what they say to you. So you have nowhere else to go. In that moment, that is the moment that that part of you, your navigator, is stuck there. It's still there. It never left that place. It has been there all along. And even now it is looking left and it's looking right and above and everywhere and behind it, and it's like, I'm all alone in the dark forever and ever. That is a place where most people cannot go. We can't go there until we are truly ready to go there. It's like, I said it before, it's like in June, the Bene Gesserit witches had a place where they could not go. Of course, in the end, the protagonist manages to go there, even though he's the first male Bene Gesserit witch, but he goes there because he can go there because he is a hybrid, you see. He is the one that can go where nobody else can go. And it is the same for a soul traveler. We can go where nobody else can go. The narcissists would need to go there to heal themselves from their curse, to lift that curse, to purge out of them the possession, the demonic possession, as it were, that has taken over their consciousness to such an extent that they cannot disentangle themselves from it anymore. They would have to go to that place where they are all alone with their back against the wall. Because inevitably, most narcissists have themselves been abused and they become what, their parents. It's an ancestral curse, you see, it always was. But of course, they are there on the external plane, and I'm not dealing with them because most of them are NPCs and this and the other. If they were sold, they would inevitably be seeking to heal themselves. But I don't believe any truly soul being can be a full-on narcissist. They may have traits be on the spectrum to some extent, but they will never ever be a full-blown narcissist because they cannot recover. They are demonic. They are all consciousness parasite. They are the external embodiment of it and exist to show us, in a way, they are markers, you see. Right. So what do you do with that part of you that is still there in that room? Maybe 2-year-olds, 3-year-old, tiny little child, terrified of the narc standing over him, her, threatening, comply or I will annihilate you. Okay, I believe that I'm worthless, I do, it's the truth. I believe that I'm bad and evil and I deserve to be punished, it's the truth. You then go on to live through the terrible, terrible fallout of that. A lot of us soul travelers, we don't function, man, we don't. Because of this. It steals everything from us, everything. It sucks the life force right out of us. Because what exactly is the point of all of that, one wonders. Well, if the inception of all creation comes from the feminine, the divine feminine, the Holy Grail. The ideas, the creativity, oh, let's do this, yeah, wow. And the masculine is needed to bring it into form, as would happen at home in the golden world, right? Effortless, harmonious creativity. But if that divine masculine is clink out of alignment and becomes the enemy, starts to bludgeon the divine feminine into oblivion, telling it it's dirty and worthless and disgusting, then what happens to that creator? The feminine stops creating. Because it's no longer a case of, oh, anything is possible, what do I want? No, it's a case of nothing is possible. I am powerless. I need to keep my head above water, or I better do as ever I'm told, and that's it. So it's about uncreating. It's the uncreation. That is what is actually really happening here. And the dark side relies on this uncreation. That is where it lives. And we need to get to a point where we understand, because yet time and time again I see this, how the wall is literally gaslighting pulled over our eyes. We see the world, we see it so often as just hell, plain hell and evil and bad. But that is not true, people. A snowflake, have you ever looked at a snowflake under a microscope? How incredibly beautiful it is. Have you ever looked at a kingfisher? Have you ever looked at a beautiful beech tree? Have you ever looked at a ladybird? Have you ever looked at the fact that water appears to have consciousness? Dr. Emoto, amazing. Have you ever smelled spring or woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning to hear an owl? There is love here, people. All is love. Truly it is. It's a sea of infinite unconditional love and harmonious creativity. We merely decided to spice things up and have a different kind of experience. We thought, yeah, What do we do if this masculine part that brings forth into form all the ideas that the Great Mother comes up with, you know, the true consciousness, the feminine, brings it forth? What if that goes out of alignment and starts to attack? And then, yeah, this is how we worked out how evil was going to be. Because if you want to have this type of experience, you need to have an enemy. How are you going to create that enemy? Well, you start by tinkering with your consciousness so that you start to create that type of experience. And that's what we've been doing ever since, if that makes sense. But you see, this part of us has forgotten that. It doesn't remember, and it won't accept that. It won't accept that, oh, this was something that we did out of our own free will to have a certain type of experience. No, it says, no, I'm not fucking going there. And it's full of hatred, and it's full of rage, and it wants vengeance. It's the enemy, they're doing this to me. I was imprisoned here against my will. And evil always wins. If that were true, believe me, that what I have just, all these beautiful things I have just mentioned would not exist at all. You know, or it comes at you and it'll say, well, maybe it's like in the Matrix where, you know, people were happy all the time when they started dying, so they had to make it more difficult, and then it worked out, and maybe evil has to allow a certain amount of goodness because, you know, well, if that's true, then it shows that evil has to play by certain rules, so therefore it's not all powerful then, is it? But it isn't really like that. Here's the truth, guys, that we need to confront the passive-aggressive element in that room where it is still a child sitting with its back against the wall in the dark, utterly terrified, believing that it is so worthless it doesn't deserve to exist, and it's dirty and guilty and bad, and it's all alone in the dark, in the shark tank, because all the evil, psychopathic narcissists are swirling around it. The system, your neighbors, your boss, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, the extended family, the church, everything in this world is all fucking distorted. And yes, there are some good people, but you don't feel safe. And it's there thinking, how will I survive? I must become what they want me to be. I have to brutalize myself. I mustn't allow myself to stand in the light. I mustn't allow myself to see my beauty. I mustn't allow myself to set boundaries because I'll be punished for that. I mustn't allow myself to love myself because it gets angry when I love myself, so I better not then. I better hate myself. Seems to like that. I'll do that. All of these fucked up, psychotic thoughts and consequential cascades of negative emotions, gut-wrenching emotions, severe depression, anxiety, self-harm, all the physical disease, growing old, menopausal symptoms, not being able to function, not being able to get your shit together, right? All of it is part of this, you know, all of it is. It is the ultimate subjugation, and it's all because of that. So now comes a time where we have to really go into that darkest of the darkest place and sit there with that part of us, that navigator, the dysfunctional navigator, the passive-aggressive element, the divine dysfunctional masculine that we need in order and to be brought back into alignment, love, masculine, feminine, wholeness, love, the Lover's card in the tarot, wholeness, right? Effortless, harmonious creativity and infinite unconditional love, right? The light reset. That is what we have to do. We have to go in there and face that quincunx situation. It does not believe in love. It feels love is nothing. It's not going to help. It's, you know, I am dirty and disgusting and bad and I don't deserve to exist, and I need to keep my head above water. I need to survive. If I stop doing what I've always done and live in abject terror, you know, something is going to come and destroy me and crush me. I can't step into the light. I can't do it. I mustn't do it. I mustn't. Ooh, you see? If we want the light reset, that is where it's at, and that is where we have to go. And we have to do it with love, because only love, the light of love, can sort this out, and it can only be done very gently, little by little by little. How exactly, I do not know. I'm right in the middle of it myself. It's been incredibly tough, and the grief that comes up is incredible, unbelievable, waves of unimaginable grief, because you see the fallout now. You see it clearer than ever before. You see how all purity and innocence, beautiful animals and nature and all of it is poof, brutally attacked. It is seen as, it's all of that is in essence the feminine, you see, the dreamer, the love, gentleness, nurturing, all of that, and it's all one giant distortion, illusion, people. That feeling that, oh, I came here to do something and I failed and I've totally failed and nothing is ever going to be all right again. All of this is playing out in our psyche. It's much reinforced with everything that's going on the external plane. I see what they're doing. You see? I see what they're doing with the Divine Feminine as well, because I was watching this television series and it all started off really, really well and all went massive nosedive, because all of a sudden now we have the Divine Feminine being... No, that's not the Divine Feminine, that's the masculine. It's all violent, it's, oh, I'm going to fight you and I'm here and I'm... and it's all a distortion, it's all a lie, and it's all done on purpose. It is resisting the great healing. Of course it is. Why? Because on the internal plane it believes that love, light, the light reset is evil. Because the Great Mother abandoned me, the Great Mother put me in hell. That is what happened. That's how this happened. The rage is unimaginable, but there it is. So that is where our sacred work is taking us. And just like in June, the Bene Gesserit witches could not go there. But the protagonist, he could go there. I don't remember his name at the moment, hence I call him the protagonist. But he could go there, because he was a hybrid. He was also a Bene Gesserit witch, but he was a male. You see, he could go there. And so he did. We, as soul travelers, can go to the darkness of the dark place and retrieve that part of ourselves, bring it back with love, bring it home, back into alignment. That is what the light reset is all about. How we're going to do it, convince it to come along with us back home, I don't know yet. What will happen when we do? It will be something that we do by degrees. It always is, isn't it? Layer by layer by layer, bit by bit by bit, gently, gently does it. Love, 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 love. What the results might be, I don't know. But I do know this. Our consciousness is shifting from that to this. And that is where it's at, people. I think that's it for today. All my love to all of you.